Well, a very pleasant good evening. It's time for Startup Talk, brought to you by Indian River State College and Mr. Tom Kindred.
Good evening, Greg. How are you this evening?
Hey, very good, very good.
And welcome, everyone, to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents.
Well, a very pleasant good evening. It's time for Startup Talk, brought to you by Indian River State College and Mr. Tom Kindred.
Good evening, Greg. How are you this evening?
Hey, very good, very good.
And welcome, everyone, to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. And as I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Treasure Coast. We will spend time during our hour together tonight to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance and support programs which exist right here in our community at our very own Indian River State College. I am Tom Kindred, and I am with a great program called the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. Our show tonight is powered by the Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College and our friends at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie. So, Greg, everything all right in your world tonight?
Oh, I think so.
All right.
Getting ready for B-ball tonight.
That's right.
Early tip-off.
Okay.
Yep.
Listen, you know our guest tonight. I am pleased, honored, and it's great to have with us tonight what I consider to be an extremely serious business mind with some serious business muscle, and that is Mr. Jack Hopkins of the SBDC at IRSC. Welcome to the show, Mr. Hopkins.
Well, thank you, Tom. After that introduction, I might as well leave now. I don't think I can get any
yeah, Jack's
I
the
can
only
go anywhere from there.
No.
Jack's the only guy at the school that's thrown us out of his office. So yeah, that's
Jack is here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the SBDC, which I always talk about and brag about. But tonight we're going to specifically talk to Jack about a program called Profit Mastery, which Jack has done extensive training and teaching along the lines of the Profit Mastery program. So we're going to talk a little bit about Profit Mastery. And again, I always tell folks that, my only question for Jack has always been, where were you, Jack, 20 years ago when I was scratching and clawing my way through the equipment business along the southern end here of Florida? Had I known about Jack and the people at the SBDC, I would have certainly become engaged in the program, and I know and confident I could have been a better manager, owner, and operator. So
Jack is an absolute genius. Yep.
Yes, he is.
Yep,
So.
yep.
Well, to answer that question, 20 years ago, I was scratching and clawing my way.
That's right. Jack, we should have met up someplace and had a drink together or something
Absolutely.
20 years ago.
Maybe the S stands for scratching. Do you think?
Maybe that's what it stands for, scratching our way through.
Oh, boy.
But anyway, as always, I want to start tonight's show because it's always impressive. I want to start tonight's show updating folks on some upcoming training sessions. And we have with us today special guest, Mrs. Caitlin Ballard of the SBDC at IRSC, to update us on what's coming up in training. Caitlin, you out there?
Hi, guys.
Caitlin?
Yeah. How are you, Caitlin?
Good. How are you?
Well, we're
Did we lose her?
doing okay.
I'm here holding down the fort.
Oh,
Okay.
did you leave her behind?
I left her behind. I can't.
Oh, my
I can't hear her.
goodness. Oh, no, it's there. You should be able to hear her fine.
Okay, Caitlin, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there's Caitlin. Look at me. Look at me. Okay.
Hi, boss.
You have to put the headset on, Tom.
You have to have
we've
these
only
on
been
your
doing
head?
only been doing this for a year, you know.
I didn't know you had to have these on.
Oh,
It's the miracle of radio.
The miracle of
you
radio.
are
Yeah.
scary.
All right, Caitlin, I am now in communications with you. So, Caitlin, again, who is with our local office here, the SBDC at IRSC. Caitlin, update us on some of the upcoming business training that's happening around our area.
Well, here at the SBDC, we're fortunate enough to partner with some powerful organizations throughout our community, one organization being the Treasure Coast SCORE chapter and another being the Small Business Administration. So with those partnerships, it allows the SBDC and SCORE and the SBA to offer classes at little to no cost all around the community, up and down the 4 counties.
Yep.
A couple of classes that we have coming up within the next few weeks. We actually have one tonight at 5:30. It's at the IRSC Chastain campus. Financial record keeping for your small business. It's a great class. You can always check that one out. In March, we have March 1st at 10 o'clock. We have sales training for your small business at the Indian River County Chamber of Commerce. March 9th from 5 to 7:30. We have how to start a small business at the Moorgate Library in Stewart.
Excellent.
Another class that we're holding on March 9th is from 9:30 to 11:30, an excellent business plan. And that one's at the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce.
Nice.
March 14th from 1 to 2:30, we have process improvement for your small business, which is, again, at the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. March 16th, we have marketing your business from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Moorgate Library in Stewart. March 23rd, from 5:30 to 7:30, again, an excellent business plan, and that one's at the Hope Sound Library.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I always tell folks, I mean, if you go to that website, the www.irscbiz, that's irscbiz.com, click on the events calendar. I promise you will be impressed at the number of offerings of courses coming up. The majority of them are, certainly the majority of the SCORE and SBDC classes, as Caitlin pointed out, are no cost. And you can register at the same location for those courses. And you can also check out the Corporate and Community Training Institute on that website, see what they've got coming up. We've talked often about the social media classes that are very helpful to business. So, Caitlin, again, great offering on the classes, and an excellent point that you make with the partnerships with the Treasure Coast SCORE chapter and the SBA. I mean, very powerful partners, and SCORE does the majority of the instructing on those classes. So, Caitlin, we certainly appreciate your time in letting us know and updating us on what's coming up with the SBDC.
Absolutely. And
All
we
right.
look forward to seeing everybody at the upcoming classes.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
All right, guys. You have a good one.
Yep. Bye-bye. And again, I always try to point out, most important detail about those classes is that most are no cost. And again, I've said it many, many times. Had I known about all the resources and assistance that were available through the colleges, I'm confident, had I become engaged, I could have been a better manager, owner, and operator. The college's president, Dr. Massey, and the Board of Trustees have done an incredible job of building what I always refer to as a very powerful one-stop shop for business assistance and support through the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute. The EDI, as we call it, is made up of the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC, the Business Incubation Program, and the Corporate and Community Training Institute. You can always get the latest at www.irscbiz.com. Check out that events calendar. And as always, I like to say a big thank you to the SBDC and their consultants for the work they perform in assisting and supporting our region's business community.
So you guys survived that huge municipal class that you had at the Brown Center last week, huh?
It
It was 100 people? Is that what it was? Is that
I
what
think
Is
so.
that what Bob said?
Yeah, I think
wow. Yeah, that's a big
Absolutely.
class.
And it continues on in the Brown Center. We the other day it was kind of interesting. There was 3 or 4 trainings going on to different entities in the building. So I was kind of down at the front door being the traffic director.
Yeah.
Are you here for this class, that class? And I was directing people, traffic directing there in the lobby of the Brown Center. So incredible facility, too, to do trainings in. And so anyway, absolutely got great stuff going on. And, again, very pleased tonight to have Jack with us and talking about one of my favorite subjects. Number one, it's the SBDC, but I really am impressed with this profit mastery, and I'm looking forward to tonight's discussion with Jack about profit mastery.
Which is profit's something that you and I know nothing
That's right.
about.
That's right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
We need some mastery.
I always thought we were a non-profit when I was in business.
Unfortunately, so do many of our entrepreneurs.
Yes.
My.
They start out as non-profits. So anyway, with that, I want to reintroduce Jack Hopkins. Jack has been with the SBDC a number of years now. I really do value Jack's counsel and mentoring, and when I tell you that I longed for an individual like Jack back in my days of business, it is a true statement. It would have been so nice, because when you own your own business, and Jack can even talk to this too, but when you own your own business, the buck stops with you. Now, I know here the buck stops with Carol, Greg.
Naturally.
Yeah,
Are you
right.
kidding? Yeah.
But all the decisions, all the daily decisions, all the the issues, the problems, you have to deal with that as an individual. And oftentimes it's just not a lot of people to turn to. You've got your banker, you've got your accountant that you can certainly turn to. But it would have just been nice to have had a person like a Jack or any of the consultants at SBDC to come in, bring my financials in, lay them on the table, say, look, what are you seeing in here? Come look at my operation. Come take a tour of my operation. A lot of times, too, one of the things we talked about was when you walk in the door of your business every day, you kind of get used to the way things look. And it's so nice to have somebody else come in and kind of tell you, you know what, Tom, maybe you should, fix this area a little differently. Maybe you should change this up. Maybe, this doesn't exactly look, professional right here. But you're used to that. So that's really what the SBDC can bring to the table is that high-level counseling, mentoring, and coaching to your business. So I feel very strongly about the SBDC, great group, and wish I had the resource when I was in business. So with that, I'll reintroduce Jack Hopkins. Welcome to the show, Jack.
Thank you, Tom.
And let's start real quickly with a little background on you, Jack. You've got a great business background. Talk to us a little bit about where you've been in business.
Well, I think the key to my success in business has been I always thought of myself in business, whether I was in trades where I started right out of high school. I was a tradesman, fine woodworking and glassman, and I just always thought of it as business, where I think a lot of people just, that's a job, and
right.
They don't look at it as the business. So that led to more inquiries on my part, and eventually I ended up going back to school. I didn't go to college right after high school. I worked for quite some time, learned that type of business, and then I went back to school. The good thing on that was by that time, some of my employees were actually paying for that. so
that helps.
So that was a good idea. Yeah.
Right.
So then I went back. I got a design degree actually. In working with the trades, that led me to a design degree, and that led me to marketing the business, the design business. So that led me to learning a little more about marketing. So I went back and I got a bachelor's in marketing. By this time, I had basically switched careers, and I was fully invested in a business career, in that time as sales. So that led me to dig a little deeper. I went back, I got an MBA, and began a management career from there. So
how many degrees do you have? Good grief!
He had no problem filling the wall space in his office. That's for sure.
Yeah,
He's got some
wow,
things
that's
hanging on the wall.
impressive. Yeah,
and Jack, you make a great point too, and this is one of my favorite points. I didn't realize I went back and got my MBA also, and of course I did it late in life.
Right.
And I had heard that the University of Florida, one of the stipulations was when you went and got your MBA that they wouldn't allow you to participate in the MBA program unless you had so many years worth of experience in business.
That is correct, yes.
And at first, I didn't really sort
didn't
of
know that.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
You can't just graduate as a 22-year-old and then immediately go into the MBA program at University of Florida. And at first I didn't really understand the point of that. But when I went back and got my MBA, I did understand it. I got it because if you don't have that real world experience like you and I had, you don't really have the should I say horror stories of business to bring to the table. And what was really so powerful for me when I got my MBA was we would go through these subjects, and it was like every class we'd hit on a subject, and I'd say, I had to deal with that. I had to deal with that.
That's right.
So it meant so much more to me to go get that degree after having spent 20 some odd years, in the trenches of business. So it really was so much more meaningful to me.
Absolutely. You mentioned the University of Florida. I don't know if I was happier the day I was accepted into the MBA program at University of Florida or the day that I actually graduated. It was equally important to me.
Yeah.
And yes, and they formed cohorts in that program,
Right.
and so we were with other people who had business experience in different
Right.
fields as well.
Right.
That was key to the program.
Oh, it was. And to have those discussions, and that's what I love about this show, is we can talk to people that are in business, and it's so nice to relate and hear from others that are facing the same challenges. And then most importantly, learn from how they dealt with the challenges. And that was really the whole, beginnings of this show, is I really wanted to be able to share what we're learning and what we're doing. And if we can help someone save some money, if we can help someone increase their margins, I mean, that's the purpose, and that's the purpose of the SBDC, to truly help businesses along the Treasure Coast grow and accelerate. Because at the end of the day, that is really what strengthens our marketplace, is to have viable businesses growing.
And that's the key to being a good consultant and having that passion and really wanting to see other people succeed.
Right.
And that's what the SBDC is about.
Right.
Succinctly, we're in business basically to help businesses grow and succeed.
Right.
That's the mission.
And I think that's interesting, because we all went through, when the times were really rock and rolling here on the Treasure Coast.
Sure.
Oh, let's bring in these businesses. You give them incentives and stuff like
Right.
that. And you local guys, well, we'll get to you later.
Right.
Well, now,
Right.
now it's
Right.
all turned.
Absolutely.
And that's where the SBDC is so valuable.
So valuable.
Yeah.
Really helping those local businesses. And and Jack, again, I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit here with the interview, but Jack, you talk about that's the mission, and really helping those businesses succeed and grow. My concern is a lot of times, and do you find this at the SBDC, that business people are a little reluctant to come see you? I mean, are they? Because if I had known about a resource like the SBDC, I would have been there. I'm always curious why you haven't had to buy one of those little machines like at the deli, at Publix, where you have to take the number. I'm really surprised that they're not lined up at the door to take advantage of the kind of consultation that you can bring to the table, and it's no cost.
Well, you just mentioned the big one. There's a couple of reasons for that. Before, when you were talking about some of the things we do with the financials and the operations management, and we'll come and we'll look at your business and we'll visit you, all of that sounds very expensive. So
Yeah.
I think
Right.
first of
Right,
all,
you're right.
there's that. But I can't make this any clearer. There's absolutely no cost to business owners or
Right.
prospective entrepreneurs for these services. Absolutely no cost.
Yeah, but Jack, there's a trick, right? We have to give you something. We have you sell our emails, or you sell our children's names. What is it? Wait.
Here's the one thing that we really, really want you to do. Actually, you must do this.
Right.
You must sign up. You
Oh,
must
okay,
complete
gosh.
our request for consulting.
Okay.
You can do that online, or you can do that at your first interview with with us, in longhand.
That's assuming
and
we can
that's-
write.
And that's all. That's the only thing we require. But now there is one other thing, and I should mention it.
Uh-oh.
Once a year, you'll probably get a survey.
Oh, okay.
In the email, and we ask you to complete that survey. That helps us provide better
Right.
services for you and for for other entrepreneurs. So
Sure.
and no cost, obviously, to do that.
Yeah, just
Now, the other reason,
Yeah,
just
go
let
ahead,
me
go
give
ahead.
one other reason.
Yeah.
I think there's a stigma sometimes with business owners that they don't need help. And unfortunately, like a good captain, some of them will go down with the ship before they actually send out the distress signal. And that's unfortunate.
You really hit on something there.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But there is that stigma that, but we like to say, come to us before you need help. Before you need help.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Jack, that you make that point all the time, and that is so valuable because we've had these discussions. When times got tough, people were coming in, but like you say, by the time they got to you, the bank account was empty.
Yeah.
We'd cashed out all the lines of credit.
Yeah.
Sales were in the
Right.
at the bottom.
Right.
So there's not a whole lot of maneuvering a business can do at that point. So you're so right. Don't wait until you find yourself in trouble. Come in at the peak, because and that when I look back on my career in business, that's really the biggest disappointment for me. We had some good years, but I ask myself the question, how much better could those good years have been had I been more efficient, had I paid more attention to the details of the balance sheet and the details in the income statement. That's when you really can make a difference, when things are moving and you've got good cash flow and you can take the net 10 discounts.
And you can benchmark yourself at that point, as operating efficiently. And have somebody come in like us, like an SBDC consultant to help you assess those factors that are going well in your business.
And Jack, too, and I think this kind of is a good segue into this. It's not, you have access, and I tell my students all the time, one of the greatest ways to do research on your business and on your industry is to look at industry numbers. And so it doesn't matter whether it's a carpet company or a manufacturer or a craft brew house. You basically have access to industry numbers. So you could go in and help someone benchmark against where others are in the industry. Is that true?
Absolutely. At SBDC, it's not just our experience and our education that we come into this with. All SBDC consultants must complete advanced certification within 3 years of joining the SBDC. So it's ongoing education. So we have the tools, the training, and the resources to help people. Yes, we have access to tremendous databases, industry databases. We have wonderful programs like Profit Mastery.
Right.
We have partnership with the Enterprise Florida people for the international export plans. We can talk about that. We have government contracting assistance, business continuity, capital access assistance. Myself and my colleague Michael Bernard just completed economic development finance professional certification, with a specialty in assessing business credit analysis. So we have a lot of really good tools to share with the business community.
Let's we're close to a break, but let me I want to ask a question. Talk to me a little bit about stats from 2015. I mean, you guys really hit the ball out of the park, did you not, in 2015? I mean,
the SBDC at IRSC had a banner year in 2015, delivering over 5,300 hours to the business community. Assisting businesses raise over $8 million in capital $3.2 million in government contracts. Our clients, just at IRSC alone,
right.
and that was services dispersed to 340 area clients. These are your local neighbors, your business owners, your mom and pops.
Right.
And these are local government contracts then, I take it?
That is correct, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. 3.2 in government contracts to local businesses we helped.
That's amazing.
Right. So, and again, it's not, when I said you guys hit the ball out of the park, we hit the ball out of the park as an SBDC, but we really helped some local businesses hit the ball out of the park too. I mean, that's what it boils down to is 359 some odd local businesses took advantage of over 5,300 hours of consulting, and that cost them what, Jack?
Let's see. I have to add this up a second. Well, nothing.
Nothing. Okay, nothing. Unbelievable, Jack. I mean, really incredible stats, and I think I'm okay to say that in the small to medium size enterprise, and define small to medium size enterprise for me, Jack. Is it?
Yes, basically businesses that have been in business for over 3 years and have over 5 employees.
Okay. So the majority of those 5,300 hours were given to what we call SMEs, small to medium sized enterprises. So these aren't startups. These aren't people with just an idea. These are people out in the community generating revenue, got employees, selling products.
And that's correct. And we still provide
Sure.
plenty of services to our pre-venture
Right.
people. These are people with ideas who come in with ideas.
Right.
We try to assess whether they have a practical enough idea to
Right.
grow into a business. And startups.
Yep. Okay, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to return to more Startup Talk with Mr. Jack Hopkins of the SBDC at IRSC.
It is Startup Talk right here on WPSL and WSTU. Express Printing in Port St. Lucie is proud to present Startup Talk from Indian River State College. You see Express Printing in its new US 1 location in the Chris Plaza, just south of the Boulevard across from Walmart, is the one-stop shop for entrepreneurs throughout the Treasure Coast. Whether you're starting a business or building one, Express Printing can offer insight on how to separate you from your competition. Let Express Printing help you rebrand your business as well. The backbone of America is its entrepreneurial spirit, shared by Express Printing and Indian River State College. Express Printing in a newer and larger facility to assist entrepreneurs. Express Printing, 878-7975. That's 878-7975. Express Printing. Look for the red sign that says, "We come to you."
And we are back to Startup Talk. I am Tom Kindred with the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute and the SBDC at IRSC. And we are talking tonight to Mr. Jack Hopkins, one of the standout consultants at the local SBDC at IRSC office. We've been talking about the SBDC and all the services it offers. We were stressing that the services and consultation and professional assistance offered through the SBDC is always at no cost. So we kind of wrapped up talking about the SME, the different levels. Again, quickly take us through the levels, Jack, that the SBDC does work with.
Sure. Well, we basically have 4 levels for our clients that we look at, and we start with the pre-ventures, and as I just mentioned, these are people with ideas who have not validated the idea yet and really haven't started generating any revenue, obviously. So they come in and we basically walk them through the process of building a business plan and trying to see if this idea is feasible enough to support a business. So those are our pre-ventures. Our next level would be startups. These are pre-venture people who have basically graduated to the point where they are generating revenue. They have a business up and running, and from the 1 to 3 years, we basically keep them in this startup phase, and that's a pretty critical phase to get.
Yes, it is.
Get them going and get them past the 3-year mark. Statistically, there's a lot of different numbers being bandied about, but roughly 80% of the people, 80% of new businesses fail within 6 years.
Wow.
So the startup phase is key.
Right.
Once you cross the 3-year marker, we separate you into 2 groups, and that is small to medium enterprises, businesses that have lasted 3 years or over 3 years, but they want to remain small, and that's their own choice, and they have maybe less than 5 employees. So that would be a small business, small maybe family-run business. And that's fine. We provide services for you guys as well. And then the next level would be growth, businesses with growth aspirations and ability to grow.
Right.
Okay, more than 5 employees, obviously in business for more than 3 years. So those are our 4 main categories.
And have all kinds of services, resources, assets, things that you can bring at every level. In fact, one of our little slogans about our program is engaged at every stage of enterprise. So really, no matter what level, stage you're in, we've got resources.
Fortunately, we have a great team at IRSC that, and we do provide different, distinct services for each of those groups.
Right.
Yes.
Let's and real quick before I forget and we find ourselves out of time, mention the team. Talk to me just a minute about the team.
Yeah, let me run through some of the people we have, and we have a tremendous amount of experience. Scotty Wilson is our government procurement expert. He is indeed an expert and a specialist in this. He spent many years working in a procurement capacity for a government agency, and so he just brings a wealth of experience and ongoing training. He'll be certified with us as well very shortly.
And that's got to be a real unique thing, dealing with governments and, whatever the proposals are and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean,
Scotty's also our military specialist as well.
There you go.
He's a Marine, United States Marine. He served in the United States Marine Corps and in a law enforcement after that. So just real tremendous guy to work with. Emily McHugh next. A lot of people know Emily, probably in the area. She's a tremendous networker.
Yeah, very involved.
She's our international specialist. She is a CGBP, along with 2 other of our members that I'll get to, and that is a certified global business professional. She works hand in hand with Enterprise Florida on providing international export plans for qualified businesses. So if you're interested and you have aspirations in doing international trade, exporting or importing, contact us. We'll have Emily come over and she'll work with you on that. Next we have Spike Schultheis, Ralph Spike Schultheis. He's our growth acceleration professional. Spike is a tremendous, well-educated and well-experienced fellow from the telecom industry in the early days of telecom. Spike is a graduate of Princeton University and the Wharton School of Business at University of Pennsylvania. Tremendous intelligent and
well-rounded
individual. That's right. Thank you. Yeah. Right. Michael Bernard is our Martin County consultant. Michael comes from many years of private consulting as well. Tremendous guy, University of Miami graduate.
He's been on the show before.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we had him on here. Yeah.
Mike is also certified as a EDFP, an Economic Development Finance professional. Duke Evans is Okeechobee and St. Lucie, Port St. Lucie in St. Lucie County. Duke's a fantastic guy as well, MBA from University of Colorado. Years and years of experience in manufacturing and engineering, just a tremendous
retail
resource.
too. I think Duke's
done a lot of things. Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. And the Colonel, we have the Colonel Dick Cantner up in Vero Beach. The Colonel is certified as a CGBP, the Certified Global Business Professional, along with Duke, by the way. Duke is also certified in that. And Dick is also our our business continuity specialist as well. He's certified in helping businesses get up and running after an interruption due to natural disasters or internal disasters. Getting your business up and running.
That's what Carol calls me.
Yeah.
Internal disaster.
That's right.
Our new director is sitting right next to me, Tom Kindred.
That would be me.
That's Tom's also an MBA, former business owner locally. Tremendous resource, just a tremendous networker and public relations man, and just all-around good guy.
Well, that's good. Thank you.
And then holding the fort down, we have, and you heard from her earlier, is Caitlin Ballard, our marketing coordinator. Graduate from Indian River State College. She's working on her MBA now as well. And she's just a fantastic young woman. So.
Yeah, incredible team, as you can see. Just all kinds of folks with all kinds of different backgrounds and experience, and again, just can't encourage people enough. Got to take advantage of this. Got to just absolutely take advantage of this. So,
I was thinking of Emily just the other day when I heard about all new businesses, U.S. businesses that either are starting in Cuba or
Right.
about to.
Right.
And I immediately thought of her, and I'm
Yes.
thinking, oh my God,
Well,
what a resource.
Yeah.
Emily has a lot of experience in the Caribbean. She's lived down there for many years herself. I also want to mention her education, which is impressive as well. She's a Swarthmore grad and an MBA,
Really?
and an
Okay.
MBA from the Columbia School of Business. So,
Wow. Wow.
real.
All right. Well,
Tremendous.
one of the things I wanted to talk about, because it was, again, I'm so impressed with the program, and I'm looking forward to my opportunity to go through the program. But I want to talk about specifically today this Profit Mastery program. And Profit Mastery is really the next level of financial management. It is a world-class program designed to help businesses achieve a greater profitability and efficiency. I mean, talk about this Profit Mastery. Now, Jack, you are certified in Profit Mastery as both.
Spike and myself,
Right.
well, all our consultants have been through Profit
Okay.
Mastery. Spike and myself are certified as facilitators for the
Facilitators,
program.
okay.
So that means we can present the program.
Okay.
Now, Profit Mastery comes from us from the Business Resources Group out of Seattle, Washington. This is a tremendous program. And I should be upfront that this is a actual paid service
Sure,
that we
sure.
offer.
Right.
However, when I consult, I use all the Profit Mastery principles in my consultant.
Right.
So you get that for
You
absolutely
get that
no
for
cost.
no
yeah.
cost.
So, but the training session is 2 full days, and I mean full days. You need good 16 hours of training. We ask that business owners or CFOs and comptrollers go through this course. We guarantee you will make your money back and then some in the first week after you complete the program. In the first week.
Right.
What the program does, and you mentioned, it is all about financial management and helping a business grow and profitable. But basically, what it does is it demystifies the process of finance for a business. And every business has to. You all have financial records. You should anyway. Income statements,
do we?
balance sheets, cash flow. These are the things. This is the checkup for your business. These
Right.
are, you have to have these things, and they have to be in order. So many business owners, and we all went through this ourselves, right? You might look at this maybe once a quarter, maybe twice a year, maybe
Right.
once a year, maybe once a year. Your accountant sends you this funny-looking statement. It's called an income statement or profit and loss statement.
Right.
And we look at 2 numbers on that, don't we? We look at sales, and we look at the profit. Did I make any money? And if I made any money in the profit, can you make it go away?
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And I was always the other way. I always wanted to see a little profit. I thought, you know what I used to say? I used to say, I can't wait for my accountant to tell me I have a tax problem. It meant we made some money.
That's
So,
a good problem to have.
Right.
Unfortunately, when we do that and we run into a crunch maybe a little later on and we want to go to the friendly banker down the road and see
Right.
about financing, and we show them these statements that we've conveniently blanked out and reduced
Right.
our profit on,
Right,
well,
right.
he has nothing to base lending us any money on. So
Right.
Profit Mastery helps you understand the correlation of profit on the income statement and cash on the balance sheet.
Right. And Jack, I think one of the sayings that I like so much about business is there are those that work in the business, and then there are those that work on the business. And again, 20 years ago, meaningless statement to me. Now I understand it. And I think what Profit Mastery really addresses is it helps that individual who is spending really too much time working in the business get more focused on working on the business. And that's really where money can be made, is if you sit down and really understand your balance sheet, your cash flow, and your income statement. Is that fair
Absolutely,
statement?
yeah.
Okay.
And I want to take off the MBA hat and the wonk hat here for a moment, because we're talking about income statements and balance sheets and most guys don't want to hear about that. Most
Right.
business owners don't want to hear about that.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the Profit Mastery program. Yes, we use those and we show you how to use them in a more effective manner, but it's not all about that. And it's not something that you really, you don't need to be a finance expert or a math expert to go through this program. It demystifies it in the most simplest, easy to understand manner. And I just can't say enough about it. I just presented it the last week to our brothers down in Palm Beach State College, SBDC, and we'll continue that next week for part 2. But
Right.
it's just a wonderful program. It's led, but it's a combination of video and live facilitation. That's where we come in. But the videos are done by Steve Lefeva, who's the head of Profit Mastery. He's just a really funny guy. He has a great way of presenting this information
Right.
in a way that'll make you laugh and
cry.
and stay with it.
Right.
It really gets you interested in this.
Right.
And boy, is there anything less interesting than financials, right?
Right.
So.
Well, until it's time to go figure it all out and figure out where your cash went and
Right.
talk to us about we had this conversation yesterday about Profit Mastery. Are you able to kind of on the radio? Can you tell us a little about some of the tools that are used in Profit Mastery? Is it more of a visual? Do we have to have the charts in front of us or something?
Oh yeah. Well.
Bring in Ross Perot. Oh,
One of the most effective tools, I would say, is the
It's the chart.
the chart. Yeah.
Where you follow the arrows backwards to kind of understand
The roadmap.
The roadmap, yes.
Okay. The business roadmap. This is a one-page visual, and I mean one regular standard piece of paper page, not a big spreadsheet page. And it basically shows all the processes that every business goes through. Okay, and there are 3 highlights on that. There's the net profit, there's the gross profit, and there's the sales. And the revenue number. And then that it looks like an algorithm, and that bridges out into all the processes that generate those 3 things.
Right.
All right. So you can see how business flows into the business to out of the business, right through the entire roadmap. But the beauty is if you go from the bottom up, you can see what causes low net profit or low gross margin. And it's all on one page. It's not brain surgery.
Right.
It can only be a number of things.
And then based on that roadmap, you have narrowed it down so that you're basically able to go look at just a limited number of potential causes for low margins.
Now, what we do in the program is we do what we call a ratio score sheet, and that's another great tool in Profit Mastery for the business, and we can compare them with the resources that we talked about earlier with peers.
Right.
All right, and I don't mean just everybody in the United States. I could narrow that down to just Florida or wherever, whatever area I'm in. And we show them, well, okay, for example, your gross profit margin was 18.5 and your peer group is 22.2. So how much money does that equate to with your sales? So, in the example that we use in Profit Mastery, it becomes an $80,000 left on the table number.
Right.
Okay, well, we could leave it at that, right, and walk away and say, well, I need to do better. But how do we find that $80,000? How do we find that $80,000? So with using that roadmap tool, we walk them through where the $80,000 could be. Okay, could it be in pricing? Could it be in not getting our best pricing from the suppliers because we're slow to pay? Could it be in operating efficiencies? We actually detail and find the $80,000 for them where that could be and where that is and what needs to be done to tweak it to get back up to a 22.2.
Right.
And so on. And we do that for every different process. So it's very, very detailed, and it just gets everybody engaged and involved in the business in a way that you haven't been before.
Well, and I always give this example. In the industry I was in the equipment, retail industry, and our association, the North American Equipment Dealers Association would produce every year what they called the Cost of Doing Business survey.
Yeah.
And just like you said, they would break down the regions, they would break down the size of dealerships, and then what you were able to do is take your financial and take your ratios and compare it to those who closely emulated the kind of business you had. So just like you said, I could look and I could say that, gosh, the average dealer that looked just like mine is making 20% on used equipment sales. I'm only making 10. So what are we doing wrong? And so that's really what you're able to do with this program, is help people kind of understand how much am I potentially leaving on the table.
Yeah. Another great tool that we use is separating profit from cash. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. Back to the example I alluded to earlier. They look at the sales, they look at the profit number, and they go buy the Cadillac. Well, it's not necessarily cash on that bottom line profit number, right? So we really demystify that for them as well. Right. And as one of the great hands-on exercises comes in part 2 of the program, where we actually work on a spreadsheet and a real example of a company that could be anybody's in this area. I mean, it's a flooring company we use for this example. You'll notice a lot of similarities with what you're doing with this business, and we actually chart how the profit and the cash move through a year. We take them through a year. Now, in some businesses, you're going to need maybe a line of credit or some financing to get through some of the slow spots.
Right.
Increased sales usually mean increased expenses.
Right.
Can't sell from an empty bucket.
Right.
So
now, and again, Jack, it's such a important program and so helpful. But how does one get the Profit Mastery training? I mean, how are you guys distributing that training?
Well, that's an interesting question, Tom, because we're trying to figure that out right now. We used to present it as 2 consecutive days. We think that's a lot. We think that's kind of drinking from a fire hose, and it's just a little too much for 2 grueling, pretty much 8-hour days in a row. That's a lot to ask for a business owner to do.
Right.
So we're working on restructuring the program either into 4 segments of 4 hours apiece,
right,
or 3 segments of roughly 6 hours apiece.
Okay.
Another way of doing it, we could do it as a full day 1 week and another full day a week after.
Right.
But 2 consecutive days, maybe a bit much.
Okay. Again, what is the average? I know the cost may vary a little bit, but what's the average cost to send somebody through the program?
Well, basically about $350, maybe $349,
So we're
$350.
That's all?
That's all.
That's it. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you finish this program, you'll find at least $350.
Yeah.
I like to say it's on the floor. We just sweep up a little bit, and we'll find that $350, and we'll tell you how to do that in Profit Mastery.
Now, Jack, going back to how they get it, I know also, and listen, I understand. I was there. We've all been there.
Right.
It is tough to walk away from your business for a couple of days.
Time.
I know time.
Yeah.
But it just, I can't stress enough, if you go through a course like this that is so beneficial that you can take immediately back into the business, immediately see the results. I mean, if you increased your margin by 0.5%, 1%, 2%, I mean, what could that really mean to the bottom line? You'd look back and say, man, that was the best 2 days I ever spent. Is that kind of the theory behind? I mean, do you run into that kind of pushback?
Very much so, Tom. And you owe it to yourself to do this. You owe it to yourself to improve. You owe it to your business to improve. You owe it to your family to improve. You have to do it. I cannot be an effective consultant if I didn't continue my education, even as a consultant.
Right.
And so too the business owner. You have to take advantage of the services and the programs that are out there to help you succeed. Right. You can't do. If you do nothing in a business, the world is spinning. The world is turning. We know that, right? The gravitational forces. If you're standing still, you're losing ground.
Right. Again, it is, and we do hear that. That is kind of the pushback, is that, it takes a while. And I understand, we talked about even, I know you've talked about weekend sessions, but then people, that's my break, and absolutely understand all the issues. It is tough, and it's gotten tougher. I remember 25 years ago when I first got involved in business, we could go eat lunch and my gosh, me and the sales department, we go eat some lunch, and as the years went on, things began to change. Things got tighter, and then all of a sudden, hour lunches turned into 30-minute lunches, turned into 15 minutes, grab the sandwich in your office. So I know things have changed.
And then at the desk, that's
right. So I know things have changed, but I again, looking back, it is so important for people to understand that everything that's important in your business is in your financials. I mean, is that a reasonably fair statement?
As a consultant, that's where we like to start.
Right.
That's the chart for the patient.
Right.
And we find a lot of, basically everybody, when people talk to us, they usually say, well, I need marketing help. Well, okay,
Right.
So everything else is okay, right?
Right.
All right. Let's start with the last 3 years of financials, and we'll go from there.
Right.
And we can usually assess what's really going on in the business from those financials.
Right.
And let me assure everyone, everything that we discuss
Right.
remains confidential. We don't share this information with anybody.
And again, if somebody went through this program, wouldn't it be natural for them to sort of probably bring in a financial, and they could actually, while they're going through the program, kind of they could be plugging their numbers in. They could actually, while they're going through the course, start to see something, change.
Yeah, well, you have enough hands-on exercises that will take them through things that
Right.
they don't necessarily need to. But yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Best, even better. Visit your SBDC consultant after completing the program with your financials, and I'll put them into profit mastery spreadsheets for you.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, literally, if you took this course, that you could begin your relationship with SBDC. Now you're talking the same financial language, and you'd actually have all those loaded into, like you say, profit mastery spreadsheets. And
that's correct. We have proprietary spreadsheets that we use that take into consideration all of the principles that we learned in profit mastery.
Okay. All right. Well, Jack, I will certainly make sure that we, the next time Profit Mastery is offered, and again, real quickly, you could also use Profit Mastery for CEUs, right? Accountants and...
For CPAs, yes.
Okay.
CPAs get up to 16 hours of NASBA QAS compliant continuing education credits for completing the program.
Okay, beautiful. With that, Jack, thank you so much for coming by tonight, taking time out of your evening, and thanks for tuning into another segment of Startup Talk. All the business assistance programs and resources discussed on this segment are available through the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute, engaged at every stage of enterprise. For more information on the EDI, its programs, and a complete listing of upcoming business training events, you can always visit that irscbiz.com site. That's irscbiz.com. As always, I want to thank Greg. Thank you, Greg. And our partners here at WPSL, WSTU, and WPSL TV. I want to thank the EDI at Indian River State College and Michelle Abaldo and her team at Indian River State College's Office of Institutional Advancement. And with that, we will talk to you next Thursday night on Startup Talk from Indian River State College.
Okay, and again, the website that we can take a look at all the SBDC and the CCTI stuff.
That's irscbiz.com.
That sounds great. All right, guys. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you,
Tom.
Greg. Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
All right. You guys have a good week.
Yes, sir.
You have been listening to Startup Talk right here on WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast. WPSL Port St. Lucie. WSTU, Martin County's Heritage Station. Serving Martin County and the Treasure Coast for more than 60 years. WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU Studio.